Yes, should we start? Yes, okay. So the first news is from Chief Justice of India. Can anyone tell me what is this case all about? Because we have discussed this case already. That too multiple times. Very good. Governor putting these bills on pending, like they are not passing the bill. Tamil Nadu case we talked about. Right? We discussed this case already. Same thing is already continuing. He said the court is still considering whether they can give a particular timeline to the president or governor, because these are constitutional positions. President is the number one position in the constitution. Governor is also a strong position. How can Supreme Court give them a timeline that within 1 month you have to give assent to the bill or take action for the bill? How can they give such an advice or make it obligatory on constitutional positions? This is the question that is being discussed by Supreme Court. So here Chief Justice of India, what is his argument? Supreme Court will not sit idle if a wing of democracy fails to do its duty. Now this is a personal opinion of Chief Justice of India. We are yet to get the judgment on this. Okay, this case is continuing, that's why we are getting news. Maybe someday we'll get final judgment, what they finally decide to do in this particular case. Now, specifically they're using few words which are quite important for you to know. For example, he says that, where is that word? No authority is above the law. Number one, he says, we feel that separation of power should be there. When you say separation of power, legislature works separately, executive separately, judiciary separately. Now when executive is working, which includes governor, president, etc., they got a bill from legislature, they have to sign it, it's their work. Why judiciary is telling when to sign, when not to sign? This is not separation of power now. You are supposed to do the task of judiciary only. Why you are entering into executive work? This is the question they are asking. What judiciary is saying, or this CJ is saying, that separation of power is something we also believe in. But judicial activism must not become judicial terrorism in this particular case. They're using few terms which you should know. What is the term? Judicial activism, judicial terrorism, and there is one more term called judicial overreach. Can anyone tell me what is judicial overreach? You heard this term? Okay, then what is judicial terrorism then? They're carrying any terrorist activity or what? No? And what is judicial activism? So is it good or bad then? Out of these three things, which thing is good? Or all three are bad? So, would you like if executive interferes in judiciary's work? Or legislature interferes in judiciary's work? See, these are three organs, nobody is above the law. All three are organs of the same constitution. One is interfering in this. Second will say, I'll also interfere. Why do you like this one kind of interference? So, is it good or bad? First of all. Very good. If everyone is doing their own task rightly, nobody has to interfere in that. The problem comes when you are not doing your task rightly. Then the other side says, you are not doing it, we have to do it. Right? So, separation of power. We will always give importance to separation of power, that you do your work, you do your work. The moment we come to know that government is not taking any action, then comes the problem. Then some other organ enters into it. Because people need the service. They are waiting for the service. People said, legislature, you make a law. They made a law. Now executive is supposed to sign it. Executive is not signing it. They stopped it. So this is a deadlock that they are creating. So here judiciary is saying, now someone has to enter in this. Okay. So they are saying we also give importance to separation of power. But when you say these three terms, judicial activism, overreach or terrorism, this is a common term, judicial activism. When one of the organ is not working properly, judiciary sometimes acts like an activist, like we have social activists. They come and protest or they do something. They try to take some action. Similarly, Here judiciary tries to come up with some activism. This is considered to be a good role judiciary is playing. For example, in Keshwanand Bharti case, they brought this basic structure of the constitution, this concept they came up with. Or Vishaka guideline is a better example. You see, before Vishaka guideline which Supreme Court gave, there was no rule in India, no law in India which protects women from any kind of sexual harassment that happens at any workplace, at any job or any location. If sexual harassment is happening, no, nothing. Law is saying nothing about it. Okay? So people went to Supreme Court, this is happening to me. Supreme Court was saying there is no law. Legislature did not do its job. So when legislature did not complete its job, what Supreme Court said, we are giving some guidelines. Till the time legislature makes a law, whatever we are saying, that will be law. Now see the intention. Is the intention bad? No, they are trying to protect people. Yes, this is according to the constitutional values. So this kind of activism or whatever judiciary is doing, judiciary's job is not to give you law. Still they are doing that task, which is the task of legislature. Okay, but in this case it seems good. Okay, so we call such activism as good. Let's say we take the example wherein we found some corruption case in judiciary. Last time there was this example from, I think, Delhi High Court. One judge was found, like so much amount of money was found at his home, and judiciary was not taking any action against that person. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, nothing, no action taken against that judge. Then what happened? Little bit, some parliamentarians started talking about it. That's how they also keep a check. This is the job. We have separation of power, but we accept or expect that each organ will keep a check on the other. That if someone is not doing the job or doing something wrong, other one will enter into it. Okay, this is something we expect. So nothing wrong in this part. Overreach is where you are extending too much. You're going beyond the boundaries and you're doing extra work which was not needed. Here judiciary is going little wrong. Little wrong. For example, once judiciary has put a ban on liquor shops on highways. So they even gave this guideline that in 50 meters or 100 meters of the highway, you can't have liquor shop. Now executive started saying, why are you so worried? Let us decide now. Government will decide whether to have near highway or close to highway or where. This is executive's work. Why judiciary is coming into this? Or this strict firecracker bans. So they suddenly said, after 9 PM or 10 PM, no firecrackers. Or in Delhi, no firecrackers. Something like this. Again, this role comes into picture. It's not their job. Again, the job is of either executive. This is about managing the stuff. Executive has to decide. Let's say under the government there is this CPCB board, Central Pollution Control Board. Maybe that board could come up with the rule that after 10 PM, no firecrackers. So much pollution is there. It's fine if they say it. Judiciary says it, that's a problem. Because it's not their work, right? So when they're going beyond their stuff and getting into the work of legislature or executive when it is not really needed, then it becomes overreach, extending beyond your limits, getting into the jurisdiction of others. If you see, in reality, both things are same. Activism and overreach, both are same. But the activism seems to be having good intention and good stuff happening. In this case, it seems maybe the intention is good, but you're behaving like you're the big brother. You start behaving like big brother. So here there will be little problem, overreach. Terrorism is like ultra extreme. Okay, so you're like, judiciary starts behaving in such a way that all the politicians started having fear of judiciary. Whatever action, executive or parliament, anything you take, they start developing fear from judiciary. That would be terrorism. Although it's not a very major term that we use every day, but sometimes in newspaper you will find this term being used. Okay, so just you should know these terms. These are very good if you know while writing answers. So the CJI is saying no authority is above the law. We are not going for judicial terrorism as such. Okay, there should be judicial activism. It should not become judicial terrorism. All these things he is also saying the same. Okay, we have to wait what exactly happens with this case because it's continuing. At the end they will come up with final answer or final conclusion what to do with this case, whether it will be on case by case basis or finally that timeline which they have provided that will continue. We will wait. Okay, any doubt with this till now? No? Next is about this relief for refugees. It's about India and Sri Lanka. Okay, right now actually it is somewhat linked with whatever is happening in case of migrants. Yes? Now, the government of India, they brought one notification. Union Home Ministry, they brought this Immigration and Foreigners Exemption Order 2005. It's an executive order. This is not coming from Parliament, coming from central government directly. Okay? Under this, they said, it is going to exempt certain groups of refugees from the requirement of valid passport or visa to enter India, and this will apply to these. Okay? Now in that, specifically see, there are Tamilians from Sri Lanka. So they are saying, if these are the refugees people, refugees means they are coming to India, they want to live in India, but they are not Indian nationals. They are from Sri Lanka or Afghanistan or some other country. Okay? They do not have any, they see, from the requirement of valid passport or visa, no passport needed, no visa needed. Yes, such kind of a thing they are saying, exemption is given. Applies to Tibetan refugees, 6 religious minorities from Afghan, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lankan Tamils, etc. This was done. Now the particular article, this one is about the Sri Lanka case, India-Sri Lanka case. You need to know, in Sri Lanka, the majority people, they are Buddhist and they speak the language Sinhalese. Okay? And the minority group who lives in the northern part of Sri Lanka, they speak Tamil language and they are Hindus. There is a history when there was British Raj, Britishers took some people from Tamil Nadu, Puducherry specifically, and Puducherry, Tamil Nadu, this area, and they made them work in Sri Lanka in some plantation work as indentured laborers. Okay, a kind of bonded labor you can call it. So they were working over there. Now those people settled and now they are the citizens of Sri Lanka. Okay, some of them returned. Some of them came to Sri Lanka, Tamil Nadu, because that's the real place they belong to, is what they feel. Ethnicity is same, Tamilian people only. Okay? So there is this history which is little complicated. Okay? Now, if you see our naturalization process, see, the data says 94,000 people who are Tamil refugees, they are still living in India right now. Okay, now whether to give them citizenship or not, that is one major question. Till the time they are refugees, you see, they are nationals of some other country, but they are not living there. They are not going back also because they have fear that their life will not be secure over there. We can send them back, but whether their life will be secure or not. And they also feel that since so many years we are living in India, it's been 15, 20 years, we are culturally integrated in India, let us live over here. And Tamil Nadu people feel that yes, they are same people, sir, let them live here. They are still into central government. Okay, it's a complicated issue, you can't directly say that, just remove them. Okay, now see, we have this Citizenship Act 1955, according to which how citizenship is given to someone or how we take away someone's citizenship. That is very clearly mentioned. So we have total 5 methods through which someone can get citizenship. Okay. Now, 5 methods include by birth, by descent, by registration, naturalization, incorporation of territory. To simply understand, if someone is a foreigner, he wants to get Indian citizenship, this method is applied called naturalization. Okay. Under naturalization, he needs 11 years of residence in India. He has to live in India for 11 years. Then he can apply. It takes almost 1 year for the entire process to get completed. Then he becomes citizen of India. Okay, that's the normal process. But recently in 2019, government brought this CAA, if you remember. Under CAA, they said that we are giving some relaxation. Instead of 11 years, some people will not need this 11 years provision. They will have less timeline, 5-6 years maybe they will need. And this was applicable only to some minority groups living in some countries. From Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, only these people, Hindus, Sikh, Buddhists, Jain, Parsis and Christians. Now this doesn't include Muslims. Okay, so these, if you belong to these religions and you are in Pakistan or Bangladesh or Afghanistan, This particular law said that you do not need to follow this 11 years timeline. You can follow just 5 years timeline and get the citizenship of India. Okay, this was done specifically. That was the CAA all about. Now this CAA does not include Sri Lankan Tamilians. They also want citizenship. The reason why CAA was brought, government's argument was these people are persecuted in their country in the name of religion. And once upon a time they were Indians, Indian origin people anyway. They're persecuted in Afghanistan, in Bangladesh and in Pakistan. So they're giving them this citizenship. Okay, but the argument at that time, they did not think about the Sri Lankan Tamils at that time. They were very specific, only these 3 countries. So there are Rohingyas coming from Myanmar also. They are also refugees. They are also persecuted, but they are Muslims. Sri Lankans coming from, Tamilians coming from Sri Lanka, they are Hindus. But nothing was specifically done in these 2 cases. Okay, even Tibetans coming. So Tibetans, no rule. Okay. Now, if we look at these people, they are asking for citizenship for sure. This is a question in front of the government what to do. Either send them back, that is called as repatriation. We can send them back to their original country. Or second option is give them citizenship. Both options are there. But as far as these Sri Lankan Tamils are concerned, their problem is they might be considered illegal migrant. Now this citizenship rule, what it says, we can give you citizenship by this particular act. But if you are an illegal migrant, then there is a problem. You can't apply for citizenship if you are an illegal migrant. So there's a technical problem involved in this particular case. Okay, again it's up to the government what they do, what they decide. Okay, so we'll come to know what happens. Fair enough? Most probably they'll get citizenship. Yes, they're Tamil people. Then India-Mauritius partnership. Where is Mauritius? Any idea? North, south, east, west? Madagascar. Very good. So Mauritius, it's a very small country, an island country. If you can see over here in this map, this is India. Below India, Sri Lanka. Here you have something called Chagos Islands. These are very important because in these Chagos Islands, one of the island is given to USA, and USA has a base, military base over there. That's how they keep an eye on India and all the countries in the Indian Ocean. Okay, a direct threat to you, right? And if you go like here in this particular area, here you will find Mauritius. Here you have Madagascar, this Seychelles Islands, etc. Okay, just a mapping part, you should know where it is exactly located. Now, we say the capital of this is basic stuff, you can read about it. You see the demography, that is more important. The population is 1.3 million and out of that 70% people are of Indian origin. Okay, so the ties with India is quite obvious because people are of Indian origin. Okay, rest are African, Chinese, French, etc. Official language in this country is English and other languages are also there. Interestingly, Bhojpuri and Hindi. Quite interesting, Bhojpuri getting into this area. Now, what's happening right now? So this person, Prime Minister Naveen Chandra Ramgoolam, okay, he's the Prime Minister of Mauritius. He came to India on a visit. So both Prime Minister Modi and he met at Varanasi and they have gone for some what we call as MOU. That's Memorandum of Understanding or some kind of agreements that we have signed. So we have to see what all exactly is happening in terms of India-Mauritius relationship. So economic package, India said that we have something called Jan Aushadhi Kendra in India. Can anyone tell me what is Jan Aushadhi Kendra? Yeah, that even I understand. Aushadhi Kendra means it must be a medical shop. What's so special about it? Not Ayurvedic or homeopathic. No, wrong answer. Close. So we use something, a term called generic medicines. If you don't know what is this, you have to read them. Okay, generic medicines are like copy paste of the original medicine. Let's say a company made a medicine, something related to some disease. Now that medicine will be very costly, not everyone can buy it. So sometimes we go for making a copy of it, generic medicine. Yes, the API will be more or less the same, the content will be more or less the same, a copied version. Although the impact will be relatively less, but more or less the drug works the same way. Okay, and that will be having very low cost. Let's say you go and buy some paracetamol from a shop, it's cost, let's say 50 rupees. Here it will cost just 10 rupees. Okay, so Indian government makes such shops in India called Jan Aushadhi Kendra, where generic medicines are sold. Those shops are there, you have to just find out if they are available in your area or not. Now we are saying we are opening such Jan Aushadhi Kendra in Mauritius. Okay, so low cost drugs available for citizens. Okay, good thing. Then for healthcare, we said we will help you establish a hospital, a national hospital with 500 beds over there. There we are helping some school, veterinary school, animal hospital, etc. India is helping them make. Then some small development projects are going on. This is important, capacity building. You see, India is working on reforming India's civil servants. So government brought this scheme for capacity building of all the civil servants, named as Mission Karma Yogi. Okay, through this they are trying to make Indian civil servants way more capable and be ready for the next generation. So let's say making them tech savvy, technologically advanced, making them citizen centric. We talk about this good governance nowadays. So for that there are so many modules. They are training them after every few days. Some kind of training happens for civil servants. For that some platform is developed. The civil servants' performance is evaluated in 360 degree. All this is being done under Mission Karma Yogi. This is a new reform happened in India. Okay, now we are saying we are going to train the officials of Mauritius through this same program. Already we do such things, like in Labasna, when people are trained, IAS officers and all other officers, people from Bhutan are also trained over there. They also get the training. You don't know? That happens. So here we are trying to showcase our diplomacy. When we have the resources, infrastructure, you're a small country, you don't have. Okay, you come here, we'll train you how to become civil servant. Okay? Yes. Then science and technology part, some MOUs done regarding oceanography, power sector, hydrography, etc., etc. So many things are happening. Now overall, if I have to see it just for the sake of analysis, some segments you have to see wherein we see partnership of India with Mauritius and how Mauritius seems to us as important country. First of all, in economic terms. So India is one of Mauritius' leading trading partner. Some of the items we export to them, pharmaceutical, cotton, cereals, etc., etc. And Mauritius is a major FDI source for India. You see, they've given the data. Think about this. Since 2000 till now, whatever FDI came to India, foreign direct investment, 25% came from Mauritius. How come? Is this a rich country or what? How come? Yes, can anyone answer this? It's a good. But what will happen because of population? I'm talking about foreign direct investment. Money is coming, dollar. 25% that too. If the number would have been for America, I would have said yes, okay, that's possible. Mauritius. So actually there is an agreement that India has done with Mauritius called Double Taxation Avoidance Agreement. What happens is, any kind of trade activity happening between Mauritius and India, let's say there is someone is there in Mauritius. They have a company in Mauritius. Okay? And now this company invests in some Indian company. They invested, they got some shares of Indian company. They bought it, after some time they are selling it. That's how they work, buy it and sell it to make some profit. When they are selling it, there is a tax that has to be paid. Every time when you buy share and then sell it and make some profit, there's something called capital gain tax that you have to pay. You have made some capital gain, that's fine. Now in case of Mauritius, see, in case of any other country, Indian government charges the tax. But with Mauritius, we have done one agreement. By that, what we say is, we will not charge anything, only Mauritius will charge. And what Mauritius does is, in that country, capital gains tax is 0. Now see the interesting story. What many countries or many people do, they are not even from Mauritius. They create a bogus company just on paper that there is a company in Mauritius, and through that route, if that person is living in, let's say, America or UAE, he will come through this route, and through this route he will invest in India, because he will not pay tax to Indian government, and Mauritius anyway not taking tax, 0 tax. Nice. That's how so much FDI comes to India from Mauritius. They don't deserve even 1%. Okay? So that's important. After that, government has taken some action. Government realized, okay, this is happening. Okay, our revenue is going now. So they have taken some actions. Now this is not happening to that extent. Okay, nowadays our FDI is more coming from Singapore. Same thing is happening through different routes. Okay? Now, there is some development partnership happening. Whatever we discuss here, it's called development partnership. You help the other partner to develop. So you're helping in health, education, or all such things. That's one kind. For example, India help them by providing some economic package or giving them some line of credit. Line of credit is like, we're giving you a loan, but whenever you need something, you can take this money, use this money. Otherwise, it will be there. Then we help them in making metro, express, Supreme Court building, etc., etc. And whenever they are in crisis, India acts as if we are the first responders whenever you are in crisis. This is the policy of India towards many of the neighbors. We do this, like even if it is Afghanistan ruled by Taliban, if there is an earthquake, if there is an earthquake in Turkey and all, we always go for responding first. That's our policy, to create some soft power or some goodwill in the minds of people. That's our policy, because hard power we don't want to use like America. We'll get our military there and fight. Nepal case, we are still doing the same thing. We don't want anything, like they're not trying to directly intervene. They can. India can directly intervene and stop everything. They're not doing that. They know the consequences. Okay. This we are doing. Culturally, if you see, we said Indian origin population, most of it. So cultural exchange is very obvious, right? And then you look at strategic and geopolitical angle. It is located in Indian Ocean, and Indian Ocean is quite important for India, quite important for China. It's part of the Indo-Pacific, which we are talking about again and again, right? Most of our trade, most of India's trade happens from this area only, 80–90%. If suddenly someone takes control of this area and doesn't allow Indian ships to go, our trade, everything will stop suddenly. So this area matters a lot. And what India is doing, what is India's policy, if you see, this Mahasagar vision that we have. We have neighborhood first policy, and we have, first we came up with Sagar vision, then we said Mahasagar vision. What that vision is exactly all about is, India is saying, we will act as the net security provider in the region. If you fear someone, India is showing that we are capable of maintaining our security. If someone attacks our ships, we can ensure our security. We are capable. We are also capable of providing security to others. If you are a small country, China is attacking your ship, we will provide you security. At least in this area. We don't have power like USA everywhere. But Indian Ocean region, India is trying to create this image of net security provider. That's a part of this Mahasagar vision. This is one thing. And second thing is development partnership. We are looking for development partnership, not like China just giving loans and putting them in debt trap. We go for partnership in such a way you also develop. That's how, again, we are building some goodwill in those countries, because we don't have money. So we are just doing goodwill, right? So you should know, this is something you'll read in IR in detail. Okay, this is this neighborhood first policy and this Sagar vision, you'll read in detail. Clear what's happening? Yes, and this China is already doing, so you should be ready for the reaction. Because China has this major plan called Belt and Road Initiative. One part of Belt and Road Initiative is about connecting all the territorial part, this land part, Eurasian region, and this water part, which goes from Indian Ocean and all. So that's where you have problem. If they control, you are at risk. If you control, they are at risk. Okay? Clear? That's it. Any doubts, if you have, please ask. No doubts? Okay then, thank you so much. We'll meet when, I don't know, tomorrow. Yes, someone is saying aim is to provide generic medicine at low cost compared to branded medicine. Very good. Online people study more. Yes, ma'am. They have Google.